Hey, I want to tell you about Moto Brand. Moto Brand was founded during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic when the sport that we live for was taken from so many of us, whether it's cycling or moto. Waking up on a Saturday morning knowing that your local track was closed, there would be no Supercross, and for many of us that we couldn't even hit our favorite local riding spot or trail with our crew. We are forced to be reminded of how much the sport of moto and cycling truly means to us. Moto Brand represents a collection of individuals that not only ride, but live to ride. It's what we think of at all times of the day, and sometimes at a detriment to your relationship with your significant other. It's for those that look at their motorcycle or their bicycle as part of their identity. Maybe it's the way that you bond with your son or your daughter or your spouse. Perhaps it's your way to blow off stress of your day job, or even, hey, it is what it is, maybe even it's your marriage. This sport is more than just a sport. For many of us, it's a way of life. It's what keeps us ticking. It's what keeps us living. Moto Brand was created for a purpose, to be more than just a shirt that you can throw on in the morning, but these designs represent who you are and what you stand for. So I encourage you to head over to the motobrand.com, check out our collection. We have a pedal collection and we have a throttle collection, and there are more designs to come that stand for something. So head over to the motobrand.com and we'll see you there. Hey, I want to tell you about our friends at Flex Racing. Flex Racing is a one-stop shop for all custom designs and products that you need to look good at the racetrack. Flex creates some of the most stunning and custom race day materials available today, designing and manufacturing products that help you represent your team and your sponsors. Products like custom pop-up tents, table covers, chairs, umbrellas, bike graphics, bike mats, even gear bags. And I'm telling you, the gear bags, they're sick. We're going to get some made for Impact and our EMTB team. They're awesome. If you need your name or your logo on it, chances are these guys can take care of it for you. Flex also provides rider and team logos, truck and trailer wrap designs, custom t-shirts, and even jackets. Not only are the designs killer, but my favorite thing, the prices. Right? They care about giving you the best possible price because Flex is entirely made up of riders and racers. They understand how expensive it is to look good and to be professional. So they've tailored the prices on all the products to be as affordable as possible to help privateers, big teams, small teams, everybody in between save the money that you guys need for things like travel, race fees, food, etc. They simply get it, right? Flex Racing's motto is secure the vision. They know that greatness exists in all of us, and they're here to help us bridge the gap between our vision and our reality. So maybe it's time to replace your pop-up from last season, or you need some fresh new gear, or maybe even need to replace those graphics on your bike to display your team logo. Give my friends at Flex Racing a shot. You can check them out at flexracing.com. Let them know that Impact sent you. Let them know that you listen to the Moto Marketing Podcast, and you can save 15%.
Welcome to the Moto Marketing Podcast, presented by RacerX, the podcast for moto industry professionals, entrepreneurs, and riders. If you want to grow your brand and business in today's digital-first world, you have to know how to turn a stranger into a fan, turn a like into a customer. You have to know how to turn attention into dollars. This podcast is dedicated to keeping you in the know on real marketing tactics that work in the moto world so that you grow your business and help grow the sport. Get ready to learn from the very same marketing experts trusted by RacerX, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, GNCC, and NBC Sports. They'll help you navigate the world of digital marketing for your moto brand. This is the Moto Marketing Podcast. Presented by RacerX.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast. We have a special episode for you today. We've got two special guests, folks that I'm lucky enough to work with on a daily basis. We have, first and foremost, we have Lacey Geary, our senior social strategist here at Impact Results. And last but certainly not least, we have a partner at Impact Results and also our chief marketing officer, Mr. George CC. If anybody has worked with us, you both recognize these faces or recognize the voices. So glad to have you guys on the show today.
Glad to be on.
Hey,
yeah, thanks for having me.
Before we get started, I want to take care of a little bit of business first. RacerX has an awesome promotion they have going on right now called the Moto Box. Now, it might just look like a big white box with a really cool logo. It's not. It's full of all kinds of cool stuff. You're going to see a video about it here in a little bit. most of us aren't lucky enough to make it to any of the nationals that are actually having fans this year. One of my favorite things about the nationals is all the cool stuff I get, the collectible stickers, the program. I have the program from the first national that I went to back in 2000 in 2002 with James Stewart on. I collect these things. I'm not able to get it this year, so RacerX has hooked everybody up with the Nationals box. If you subscribe at racerxonline.com/moto marketing, you get your subscription to RacerX as well as this year's National box. It'll come right to your doorstep, and you get all the cool, sweet collectible items that you normally would get at a National. Our friends at FMF have hooked us up with a code MMP30 upon checkout. Saves you 30% on all of your FMF swag, all of your gear. I just got a new hat in yesterday, actually, using the code, so definitely go and check that out. And last but not least, if you like the podcast and you want to support us, you can go to themotobrand.com and pick yourself up a Moto Marketing Podcast t-shirt. Again, it's themotobrand.com. All right. Let's rock and roll. So we've got a special show today because I've got two of our most talented marketing experts that are the driving force behind all the success that our clients have. And for those that don't know, Impact Results works specifically with e-commerce-based businesses in the moto and cycling spaces. So how are we getting that success? What are some things that you can learn from what we've done for our clients to give you a greater level of success? And I think the big thing today that I want to touch on is moto and cycling both industries are up extremely high over last year because of everything going on with the pandemic. And what I've seen is a massive level of complacency from a lot of brands that think, well, I don't need to do anything because we're up. But what you're not really future pacing or preparing yourself for is what happens when the world goes back to normal or some level of normalcy, and that increase that you've seen starts to equalize. And all this time you really haven't done anything to prepare yourself for the world when it goes back to normal. It can sneak up and bite you. So that's what we want to talk about today. What can you be doing now, and what can you be doing after the world goes back to normal from an e-commerce based business, right? Maybe you don't sell online yet and you need to. Maybe you do sell online. How can you increase the level of sales that you get? So George and Lacey, I'll let either one of you kind of start. What are some things that we have learned, because we've learned a lot since this whole thing started in March to now, that we're having our customers keep in mind when we're working on their campaigns day to day?
I think the first thing we're kind of bringing, people's minds is that, this is a bit of a bubble, and we've already seen it kind of start to deflate a little bit. All of our clients that independent of industry they're in had banner spring times, moto in particular, cycling in particular, because that's something you can do by yourself. You can get out there, you can be very socially distanced. And so, people selling bicycles, bicycle parts, motorcycle accessories, helmets, everything like that went through the roof. So for me, one of the big things to do is to kind of keep in mind to be able to adjust your financials in the back end and say, okay, great, we're in a bubble right now. Let's not make any crazy decisions on expansion, of the business right now, just because we're in this bubble. It is going to equalize. So be able to plan for that time when it comes down a little bit more. But also, one of the things we encouraged our clients to do very early on, and I still encourage it now, is to send out emails to them, thanking them for their support during this time. A lot of folks, have decreased, income right now. So if somebody is, actually spending money with your business, have an email sequence set up. Say, hey, as part of your thank you email sequence, after they purchase, they get that receipt. The next thing should be an email saying, hey, thank you very much. Really appreciate you, shopping with us during this time, and segment that list into a group of people you can give a loyalty discount to. Hey, you supported us during COVID. Come back and get 20% off on your next purchase using this code. Yeah.
And before you dive in, I think that's important because there's a lot of people, I've heard this thrown around multiple times. Oh, our sales are up 60%. And instead of doing what you're talking about, George, they're doing less because they think, well, more people are buying from me, I'm good. That's not going to last forever. So what you're talking about, and just being very open and honest. I mean, everybody knows that everybody's struggling at some level. So just coming out and saying, hey, we really appreciate your business. We're working on half capacity as far as staff. The CEO's packing boxes and shipping them out. It really means a lot. That's going to go a long way, as opposed to, well, I don't need to do anything because we're up 60% over last September, so I'm good. I'm hearing a lot of that, and it's disappointing because it's going to change, and the people that have that mindset, it's going to hurt them. Lacey, what do you have?
Right. So going off of what George said, the past purchaser retargeting has been one of the biggest strategies that we've used. Like you said, you can't just take that purchase and be like, oh, like, that's cool, we got a purchase. You have to hit those people. We've been launching campaigns with a thank you deal. Thank you for your purchase. Here's $10 off your next order of $50 or more. We appreciate your support so much. And we've seen huge returns from those campaigns. So we're increasing the frequency of purchases, and we're really amplifying that initial purchase and pushing it way further than what it would have just been having taken that purchase and done nothing with it. So that's been a huge strategy that we've used.
So for those that might not follow marketing and have no idea what retargeting is, there's several ways that you can utilize retargeting, and what Lacey's talking about is further marketing and nurturing a customer that bought from you before, and that's something that we can do for our customers and a small business can do for themselves, right, guys, as far as taking the email lists of the people that have purchased and then using that to target them again on social, as well as emailing them using whatever your email software is. Is that what you're getting at?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something that I saw a few weeks ago is that it takes roughly 60 days to form a new habit. And I thought that was super interesting, being that we've been in this some level of this pandemic since mid-March. So we've had far greater than 60 days to form a new habit. And I think the biggest habit that's been formed is we do as much stuff as possible online now, including ordering groceries, including ordering food from restaurants and having it delivered to us, including, I need a new set of fly gear, but man, I don't want to go to the dealership because it's not safe. Well, after it's safe to go to the dealership and we've had this new habit ingrained into our routine of buying online, well, now it's just more convenient for me to buy online. So what are some things that you would say to somebody that has predominantly had a brick and mortar store, and I'll use motorcycle dealerships? They certainly can have an online component. What are some things that they need to keep in mind for maybe selling helmets and jerseys and protective equipment and moving into that in a post-COVID-19 world if they don't have that already?
The best time to start, if you're a brick and mortar company, the best time to start your online store was 2 years ago. The next best time to start your online store is today.
Yeah.
No two ways about it.
Yeah.
We had a client who had a predominantly brick and mortar store with a little bit of e-commerce. And during COVID and through till now, that e-commerce store is doing boatloads of money. The brick and mortar store can barely keep the lights on. So that's the big thing, is start now. Start with some level of getting your stuff online. Shopify store costs $29 a month for the basic. You're going to get everything you need to get set up with Shopify. Don't overcomplicate this. Don't go try to find someone to custom develop you a website from the ground up. For the love of God, I mean, Shopify has the word shop in it.
Right.
And that's what well.
And from a marketer's standpoint, that's what we look for when we're determining if a customer is the right fit for us. I mean, that's George and Lacey, that's what you're asking us to look for. Hey, make sure that they've got a Shopify store. If they're using something else, if they've got a custom coded solution, we need to get them on to Shopify. So it's not this is a hack solution, this is the easiest for you. It's the best solution, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest brands we work with in Moto and across all of our verticals are on Shopify. That's it. I mean, you would be surprised to hear, because Shopify came out as really an SMB type of a solution for sell a couple things here and there when it first started. And the biggest names in Moto that you can think of and the biggest clients we have are on Shopify for the simple reason that it works. You have so many capabilities and it's so streamlined.
And their connections with Google and Facebook, they're at the top. They have direct API connections, anything that you need to do as far as retargeting or advertising on digital, you don't have to stress about it with Shopify because they have very close relationships with these massive companies that you advertise on. So the connection is seamless and it is easy.
And I'm pulling up a message that Lacey sent me yesterday. She has a customer that probably today peaked into the $4 million sale mark, and that is that $4 million in sales that our campaigns generated. And is that customer on Shopify, or are they on one of the other platforms? Because there are a couple options.
Yes, they're on BigCommerce,
Okay.
which Shopify and BigCommerce are the two we look for. BigCommerce has the same exact connections with these massive companies. It has similar, integrations. So BigCommerce is definitely a good one too. We just advise Shopify for anybody who's looking for a different solution because it is definitely super user friendly. It's going to be the easiest route, but BigCommerce is great as far as marketing goes as well.
Something that I want you to kind of dive in and explain to the listeners a little bit is, so our sales process, when we're courting a new customer or looking at, are we a good fit for this customer, we're looking at certain pieces of data as far as where they're currently at. And that helps us determine, can we have success for this customer and get them to where they want to go. And I think these pieces of data are important for somebody that is even going to do it on their own, as looking at, okay, where am I at as a starting point so that I can realistically come up with a number of where I want to be. And some of the things that we look at are, how much traffic do you have coming to your site on a monthly basis? What's your average order value? What's your average order volume? How many orders a month are you putting out? And then what's your profit margin? Why do we look at those numbers? Why is that so important?
Starting with like the numbers of orders per month, the big thing with orders per month is that we look for 50 purchases per week minimum in a 1 month period. Reason being is that in order for, and this is strictly just from the social side of things, from Facebook and Instagram, obviously YouTube has different YouTube and Google have different metrics, but for Facebook and Instagram, in order for us to be able to optimize for conversion, that means for the algorithm, the Facebook algorithm, the scientific rules that kind of run everything, to be able to find people who are most likely to purchase, you have to have at least 50 purchases per week. And that's where we say, okay, we can hit the ground running in about 20 or 30 days and really start kind of getting to the projections that we told people we're going to do for them, ROI at 90, ROI at 120 days. So the amount of orders is extremely important. We also look at the number of visits, because the more visitors a site has, the more possibilities they're actually going to have purchases. Right. Also within that is, if they have a metric boatload of visitors per month and only a few sales, that's a red flag for us. Not that the client wouldn't be good for us to work with, but that there might be an issue with the checkout process. So we look at how many people have come to the site, how many people have added to cart, and how many people have purchased. And that's a good thing for every, online business owner, especially in Moto, to take a look at. Do we have an absolutely obscene amount of visits and an extremely low amount of purchases? Then there's an issue with your checkout process.
Yeah. And I think, so what George and Lacey do is they go through those, and then that's where they identify the problem. So what George, you just said is, hey, if you've got a lot of visits and a low conversion rate, that's a red flag. Okay, we need to be able to fix this. So you can use those same metrics to determine where you're currently at. Are you at 50 purchases a week? If the answer is no, because it's a brand new store, well, then don't come into it with the mindset of, I'm going to generate thousands of dollars in sales next month because now I'm running Facebook ads. You've got to fix that first issue, which is, I don't have enough people visiting my site, which is creating not enough people purchasing. So let's kind of take 3 steps back so we can get to where we want to go. Lacey, for those that might be really new to online marketing and have no idea about retargeting and really don't even know the difference between a boost post, a targeted ad, SEO versus PPC, where is a good place for a complete newbie to start? Should they boost posts? Should they start with a true targeted Facebook ad? If so, what's the difference? What would your recommendation be?
Getting into targeting ads is, the sooner the better. You can boost posts whenever you want. It's super easy to do, but for long-term results, you really need to get started in advertising and doing actual targeting within these platforms, because it's just going to help you in the long run. It's going to be a process. Everything George was talking about was for conversion campaigns. You can't be successful with conversion campaigns until you hit a certain amount of traffic, a certain amount of added cards, a certain amount of purchases. So you have to start from somewhere, and the sooner you can start building up your traffic and building up those numbers, the quicker that you're going to be able to run conversion campaigns and the more money you're going to make.
Yeah. George, would you add anything to that?
No, that's 100% right. I mean, we've got clients right now who have come on with us, and I'm thinking of one of our favorite West Coast clients who we talked about this morning. Who is he's an awesome guy. He replies to everything in yes sir, yes ma'am, like in all of the written communication of Basecamp. He is just one of the best guys. The second you send out anything to him, he signs it immediately. We started him in growth phase, and so even he coming into it with a successful brick and mortar and a fairly successful online business, we had to put him into growth phase. What that meant is we do projections when we bring clients on, right? When do we realistically think we can get you to return on investment positive? Even he, we had to put him into a growth phase plan, which I think is what, kind of what Lacey's talking about is you got to start somewhere. Our successful client, this guy's now making what, $200K a month at that point. Right. We had to start at growth.
And what that means is it's a little bit more of an extended timeline before he can get to generating the type of money he wants to make, because the numbers that we just talked about, the traffic, the order volume, they weren't quite to where they needed to be. So we call that growth phase. You have to give it a little bit more time. But if you follow the process, George, this client did, and they're having a lot of success, whereas they really weren't before, correct?
Correct. And you can replicate this process for yourself when you're starting out. The big thing is, one, to get awareness, right? So we're talking run reach ads, okay? Run video view ads, especially video, run video view ads. And then target people who have watched that video, okay? Get that going, and then run traffic ads, okay? And start building the awareness, and then start flooding your website with the traffic ads. And then from that point, you'll start to see, as you run more traffic, you'll start to see more add to carts, and then occasionally you'll start to get purchases.
Yeah.
And then you can optimize later on for add to cart, which means you're trying to find people who are more willing out of that set you have to add to cart. And then you kind of go through the rest of the process. But it is possible for anybody. A lot of our clients, actually, we take them from growth to ROI. It might take 120 days, but once they hit that, and that's the thing with Facebook and Instagram, once you cross that threshold, it just goes up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really exciting to see, and we've been doing this process for a couple of years. If we have a client that comes on, it's like, I'm a little nervous about this growth phase. We're telling you, by X date, you're going to be your ad spend will be recouped, and by X date, you'll be recouped as far as your investment as well. And it never fails.
I think something else to keep in mind is, before we go to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Black Friday and holiday ads. But something else to keep in mind too is you really shouldn't put all your eggs in the one basket. You want to diversify, especially in a digital world. If the only thing you're doing is search engine marketing, or the only thing you're doing is running Facebook ads, you can have success, but you're going to have an even greater level of success if you're finding popular podcasts like this one, or Pulp MX, or any of the shows in Moto. Unique to Moto is how obsessed fans are with listening to podcasts. If you're running Facebook ads and not search, you should try to find some budget to run search marketing ads as well. You need to try to be everywhere, including traditional means like event activation, looking at RacerX Digital as well as RacerX Print. If you can find the budget to do multiple things, you should do that always, as opposed to just doing one. If you have to start with one, that's great, generate the revenue, and then figure out where you can expand by using the revenue you generated from the one into the other. It always helps. So we have customers that come on and just use us for Facebook and Instagram, and then we get them to do email marketing, and then YouTube ads, and then search engine marketing. We're always trying to expand them, because the more you're doing, the more success you can have. When we come back, we're going to talk to George and Lacey about one of the biggest questions that we get asked about, and that is marketing on Black Friday. So we'll be right back, and we'll dive into that. Hey guys, want to tell you about RacerX's newest promotion. This is the Nationals box. Pretty bummed that, not going to get to make it to any Nationals this year. If you're one of the lucky ones that's gotten to go to Loretta's or Millville or something like that, that's awesome. But for most of us, we're kind of left high and dry, missing out not only on the races, but all the cool things that we like to bring back from each of the races. If you're like me, I've collected all the souvenir programs, all the event stickers of any of the things that I've gone to. We're missing out on that this year. But RacerX has fixed that with the Nationals box. They just sent me mine, and I'm going to take you through it. Now, you get this with a subscription to RacerX right now. You can do it at racerxonline.com/moto marketing. And when you open this up, you got a nice little letter explaining what the Nationals box is to get you all stoked on it. Can't ever have too many t-shirts. So we've got a cool retro style Nationals box t-shirt that I'm going to put on as soon as we're done with this. This is my favorite part of the Nationals. I've collected these every year that they've done them since I've been going to the races, and I have them in my office. I don't know, call me weird, whatever. I think these are super cool. So you got, you got Muddy Creek, you've got Thunder Valley's decal. We've got, this is cool, I didn't realize this. These are ones from the past. So this is the 2014. I was confused when I saw Muddy Creek. This is 2017. Oh, this is really cool. I literally just realized that these are old. So this is 2015. There are some of these that I don't have because I didn't get to go, for example, to Washougal. Now I've got them. Super cool. I literally just realized that these are throwback decals. Obviously, you get the issue of RacerX Illustrated print. Mathis, Weege, all your favorite guys are writing stories exclusive to this, features exclusive to that. This is another thing that I've collected every single year. The race souvenir program, you're going to get one of those as well. And then look, we're all still 16-year-olds at heart. You can't have too many posters. So you've got a super rad Marty Smith poster. I believe that's what you're going to get in all these boxes. If not, you're going to get another cool poster. But bottom line is, the Nationals box is cool, or full of cool swag. And the thing that I'm most excited about is I can add these to my collection because I did not have a 2015 Washougal decal. So look, the way you can get it, go to racerxonline.com/moto marketing. It's $50. That gets you a year's subscription to RacerX, as well as your Nationals box. Go check it out today. Use my link. Don't use the other guys. Use mine. Need all the help I can get, right? Appreciate you guys. Hey, big shout out to our friends at FMF. Little D and the guys are always doing some pretty exciting things, not just with the performance products, but man, they've got the coolest apparel in the game, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to get that at a little bit of a discount. If you go to FMF and pick up any gear you'd like, hats, shirts, whatever it is, upon checkout, if you enter the code MMP30, MMP30, you can get 30% off. So MMP30 at checkout and get 30% off your order on FMF apparel. All right, guys, welcome back to the Moto Marketing Podcast. Hey, if you have questions after any episode, especially today, a great way to ask those questions, and what we might do is bring George and Lacey back on and just strictly do a Q&A. Send them to questions@motomarketingpodcast.com. Go straight to my inbox. We'll field the questions, or you can hit me up on Instagram. It's @LukeNessler. I always answer them right there, but we'd love to do a Q&A segment on one of these shows for you as well. Okay. Guys, so one of the questions that we always get asked by people that aren't customers, current customers, is Black Friday. People make a lot of mistakes with Black Friday ads. They try to turn them on the day before, the week before, whatever. There's a strategy that goes into it, and I feel like that strategy is always changing because digital marketing platforms are always changing. We have a really good relationship with a rep at Facebook that helps us stay ahead of the curve. So what are some of the things going into 2020's Black Friday that we should be keeping in mind? Start now. And by George saying start now, he means September. So if you're listening to this November 15th, you've started. You start now, but you started too late.
Yeah, good point. Thank you for the for the timeline reminder there. Definitely start spending right now and start spending now and increase spend. Especially
increase your
in
ad spend.
increase your ad spend,
Okay.
especially in 2020. This is going to be the biggest Cyber Monday, biggest online shopping ever for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Many retailers have said that they were going to forego having actual in-store events just because you look at Walmart across the nation is, I think, capped at around 450 for occupancy. So a lot of companies are looking at moving just everything online. With that moving online, what you have is increased competition for spend, or for getting into people's feeds. Also, we've got in the U.S. right now, we got the Democrats and Republicans trying to outspend each other every single day. So what we're starting to see is that the dollar, if you're not increasing your ad spend right now, especially going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, your dollar isn't going as far. So start increasing your ad spend.
Good. Lacey, before you dive in, George, if somebody's spending $2,000 a month right now and they hear this and you say increase your ad spend and they're like, well, I'm going to spend $20,000 a month, they should not spend $20,000 tomorrow, or they shouldn't ramp it up that quick, right? Can you talk about the ad spend scaling briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. So you should scale your ad spend up gradually if you intend on running the same ads you're running right now through that point. So what you want to do is, if you're at 2,000, that's $66 a day. What you want to do is you want to increase. There's a couple different methodologies. The one we follow is increase by 30% per day until you reach your maximum threshold. So, if you want to increase by 30% per day up to $200 per day, then do that very slowly. Do that very measured. And what's going to happen is, you're not going to upset the algorithm. If you throw a boatload of money, if you go from $66 a day to $200 to $250 to $5,000 a day, you're not going to get the results, because the algorithm is going to be confused, because it's looking right now at the $66 per day. Where is that audience that I can get that's going to convert? If you throw this larger net out there, essentially of $200 a day, $300 a day, or whatever, the algorithm's going to get kind of confused, and you're going to be a couple of weeks in on optimization. That's kind of where I am with scaling. Now, if you're starting entirely new ads like October 1, and we have some clients who are starting some new ads October 1, and they're bumping up, they're adding an additional $20,000 per month. What we're going to do is we're going to come to September 30th, we're going to cut that, and we're going to start over with a brand new set of campaigns with new ads in them. That way, we don't have to scale it out. We can actually drop it in, but for the love of God, don't drop in that much right now.
Yeah.
Either have a hard stop date, or if you're going to continue those ads, the same ones you're running right now through Cyber Monday, then definitely do the scaling.
It's, and a lot of people listening to this could relate to this. It's like that friend that can drink 15 beers and you can drink one. Well, if tomorrow you try to drink 15 beers with that friend, it's going to go really bad for you because you haven't built that tolerance up. The algorithm is the tolerance, right? So I know there's some people listening to this that normally would go to a Motocross National and tailgate. And they know what I'm talking about. Can't go to Motocross National, but you can get the Moto Box or the Nationals box. So anyways, Lacey, what else do we have with just things to keep in mind for advertising, marketing for Black Friday?
A big reason why George is saying start now is because experts are projecting the start of holiday season shopping is October now. It's always been November. This year they're projecting October because of all the shipping delays. People are being a little more careful with their money. Everything starts in October. That's like a week away because it's September 23rd right now. So if you don't have your complete strategy built out for this holiday season, you need to build that out this week, because you essentially need to start running all the ads, doing early birds, running lead gen campaigns, building your email list. Everything has to start by October, or else you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, and again, if you're a brick and mortar and you have no plan of digital advertising and online e-commerce and driving sales on your website, you're behind the eight ball, but It's better to start now than to just do nothing all the way through the holiday season. There's always so much that changes from one year to the next. What what else have we been discussing internally for our clients that I should keep in mind as an online retailer, be it social, search, whatever it may be?
We've seen email sequencing do really, really well. So what we've done for a lot of clients is we'll run a lead gen campaign for a giveaway. We'll bulk up their email list, and then we'll hit them with email sequences. So like you said, hitting people across multiple different channels, making sure you're taking advantage of everything you can. And the majority of time, email doesn't cost a lot. You don't have to put ad spend behind email. So we've been really bulking up people's email lists, and then also using our lead gen campaigns to build out bigger retargeting lists. So it's just all about, especially right now, building up that list to hit people with all your holiday season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals.
Yeah. George, we lost you there for a second. What else have you been talking to our customers about as far as some potential strategy moving into Black Friday, Cyber Monday? I know a big one is just getting started now, but beyond that, beyond the email list segment building, what else should we be keeping in mind?
Definitely, I think when it comes to search engine marketing, if you're not doing search engine marketing, this is the time right now to get in and to actually get in front of people who are buying gifts for people who are into moto or into Supercross, because like myself, I've got my variety of strange interests, and I know that every year starting in November, my wife starts Googling gifts for nerds, right? What Star Wars gift should I get for my husband? All that stuff. And the same thing happens, in moto. And so, what we see is, an opportunity here to actually, in search ads, use the terms, motocross Christmas gifts, Supercross Christmas gifts, motorcycle Christmas gifts as what you want to key off of to serve these ads to people. When you take a look at motocross gifts right now, it's searched an average of 260 times per month. That, of course, goes through the roof in November and December.
Because with that, and I want to key in on this, because someone listening to that, they're like, man, it's so it's put in like layman terms, but that's the thing. Aunt Lou doesn't refer to this as moto or, whatever slang we're going to use. She doesn't know it. So dirt bike gifts, motorcycle gifts, things that are very simple for grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, girlfriend, that isn't a track snack, that doesn't understand the sport, that can type it in. Those are going to be the ones that are really low searched right now, but do start to go through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely what I would do with those ads, if you're selling t-shirts, helmets, whatever it is, you should definitely be keying off of motorcycle gift. And then the ad copy should be the perfect gift for the motocross lover in your life.
Yeah.
And that's really going to help out. I mean, think about it too, kind of like go back to the old school way of doing things. I mean, really old school. You go into a big department store. Can I help you? I'm looking for something for my grandson. Mm-hmm. What's he like? And it kind of goes that way. That's going to be a big winner for us this year. Always has been, but I think this year is obviously going to be a lot bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, there's so much that we didn't dive into today, and we've got so many people at Impact that are just experts of their craft, and we didn't even scratch the surface with Lacey and George. I'd like to get them back on. I want to know what questions you have for them. So again, submit them at questions@motomarketingpodcast.com, or just DM me on Instagram, or you can drop it in the comments on YouTube if you like to watch the show that way. I want to know, and there is no dumb question. If you don't know the difference between pay-per-click advertising and search engine optimization and what's right for your business, ask that question, because if you're thinking it, there's a lot of other people that are as well, and we'll get these folks back on, as well as some other of the characters at Impact to try and help you guys out, because this is, like George, like you had said, this is going to be one of the biggest and most critical Black Fridays that our country has ever seen, in Cyber Monday, because most of us are going to be shopping online. Lacey just scared me, reminding me that I have less than 7 days to start my shopping because shipping is going to be delayed. So I need to get on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anything else before we wrap up today? Anything that we didn't cover that you guys are wanting to go over? George, you got something. I can see it in your eyes.
When I dropped out there, Lacey, did you talk about notifying your customers about shipping delays?
I didn't, and that's what I was going to bring up.
Hit that. This is huge.
Go ahead.
So you need to be as transparent and as realistic with your customers this holiday season as possible. The last thing you want is a lot of upset customers who are upset over shipping delays. You have to have a banner on your website that is super transparent with them on what your shipping times are, when they can expect their gifts and stuff like that, or else you're going to end up getting a lot of negative reviews. Your Facebook page only allows, if it gets flagged because your page score drops so low with negative reviews, you only have 3 appeals in the lifetime of that page. And then you're done. Like, you just lose your entire page. So it's so important to make sure that your customers are happy and that you're super transparent with them, because especially with your presence on social media and online, you only get so many chances to appeal it, and then you're done. So it's really important to also just make customers happy in general.
Huge. If you only heard one thing on this podcast today, that should be the one thing you should take away, because with the event space, there were moto and non-moto clients that were having this issue because people were upset because nobody knew what the hell was going on. We didn't know when we were going to have events, and there's refund issues, and the event's doing nothing wrong. They're trying to do the best they can do, but you got Karen and her sisters that are upset, and they go and leave a negative review on your page. And we learned very quickly this year how big of an issue it can become. And so you get 3 appeals for the lifetime of a page, meaning if somebody left a review and they flag your page, you can try to fight it 3 times, and then beyond that, you're SOL, right, Lacey?
So if you get a certain amount of negative reviews, Facebook ranks your page. You have a page score. Negative reviews will drop that page score. So if you get multiple negative reviews back to back, it might drop your page score, and they might disable your page, or they might prevent you from advertising or boosting posts, stuff like that. They will notify you if that happens, and you can appeal it, but you only have 3 appeals to use. Yeah. So if you get back-to-back negative reviews and your page gets disabled from doing any activity on it, then you only have 3 chances to redeem yourself with Facebook, and then they just cut you off.
Yeah.
So.
And there is not a Facebook rep out there that can get you 4.
No, and most of you don't have a Facebook rep at all, and even a high level one like ours. Ours can't even do it.
Yeah, even for the position we're in, I can pick up my cell phone and I can call his cell phone. Lacey can call our rep's cell phone. We have a direct cell phone number for somebody at Facebook. Not even he can fix it. It's 3, and that's it. So it's extremely critically important to like Lacey said, be really transparent. And there's some other things which I know we don't have time for right now, but I think we can probably dig into in a later one as to how to actually set that expectation up on your Facebook page in the settings.
Yeah. Make a note of that, guys. Let's do that, because I think we'll get questions and we can come back on and address them. But I think that's a big thing that people need to be prepared for, so that their page essentially doesn't get flagged as scamming customers, because that's why Facebook does that. If you're getting all kinds of bad reviews, normally it's because you're scamming. We're in a unique situation where you're going to get people that just aren't understanding of the fact that things take a while to get to you today, and you might get hit with that. So be prepared for it. We'll be back after a few episodes of the normal show. We'll be back and answer more of your guys' questions. So George, Lacey, appreciate you guys joining us, and I appreciate you for watching or listening. If you're watching, let us know what questions you have in the comment section. If you're listening, again, email me at questions@motomarketingpodcast.com. And we'll see you on the next episode.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Moto Marketing Podcast. If your goal is to get real, measurable results from your marketing that will grow your company revenue, then check out how Impact Media can get the same results that they have for Moto's most iconic brands by visiting thinkimpact.com. That's THINKIMPAKT.com. Have a marketing question that you want answered on the show? Send your questions to questions@motomarketingpodcast.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast.